We're going to call the meeting to order. First on the agenda, it is the mission of Montague Area Public Schools to educate and inspire all students to become motivated, articulate, productive, and successful citizens for today, tomorrow, and forever. Next on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is roll call.
Mrs. Palmer? Here. Mrs. Newbauer? Here. Mr. Weishauser?
Here.
Mr. Swins? Mr. Rath?
Here.
Mrs. Francis? Here. Mrs. Dahl? Here.
Item 4 on the agenda is the hearing on the 2025-26 budget. I'll turn it over to Stacy.
Okay, we're going to call the 25-26 budget hearing to order. So this hearing is held to allow for public comment on the district's budget. Tonight, we're going to ask the board to pass a budget for next year that contains expenditures totaling $20,634,970. And we'll go more into depth in that during the actual board meeting during the budget reports. Our debt levy and sinking fund levy also needs to be discussed at this time. For next year, that will be 8.5802 mils, which is slightly less than this year because we did have a heavy rollback on the sinking fund. Our debt millage will remain at 7.8 mils, and the sinking fund will be 0.7802 mils. Are there any comments or questions at this time? All right, seeing that there are none, we just need a motion to adjourn the budget hearing. So moved.
Moved by Cindy, support by Scott. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 4 on the general agenda is approval of the agenda. Support. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5 is consent agenda. Suggest a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Support. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Any discussion on the consent agenda?
Just like to pay notice, thank you to Joe Brunson, high school teacher, social studies. He did take another position down at Holland Christian, where he does live in Holland, and his kids attend as well. He was also our cross country and track coach. Thank you to him for his time.
Okay. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6 is public comment portion of the meeting. Public comments will be accepted at this time. Each statement shall be limited to 5 minutes duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to the staff or other participants. The board welcomes public comment, does not respond to citizens' concerns at its meetings. At the citizens' request and the board's direction, the superintendent or designee will respond in a timely manner. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting school district business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Are there anybody on the list? Anybody that has a public comment at this time? All right. Item 7 on the agenda is reports.
All right, leading off the reports is Business Manager Stacy Brown to give us our financial report. She did meet with the Finance Committee prior to this meeting to go over the budget as well, but this is a condensed version and slideshow for you to check out.
Okay, so keep in mind as we go through this tonight that this is very conservative, as all of our proposed budgets are, and also contains a lot of unknowns. The state is not giving us a full idea of what funding is going to look like next year, so please keep that in mind. Now, in developing this budget, we've taken a lot into account. We've taken into account our declining enrollment, our staffing changes, our increases in wage and benefits, and also any maintenance and repairs that need to be done. So this is a good starting point, but we will be revised throughout the year at our first amendment in December and our second amendment next May. When we had to think about revenues, we assumed that we're going to have 1,225 students here in the fall, and that we're going to get $10,000 per pupil. Now that is the governor's number. The governor, the Senate, and the House still need to come up with a final number, but that is what we use for this budget. It is a $392 increase per student, and while we are appreciative of that, there is an issue with the fact that we have declining enrollment. So even with that increase and our decline of 64 students, it's a net loss of $200,000. And you're going to hear a lot from the media in the next few months about how they're giving money to schools, and just keep in mind that that does tend to be a shell game. That they're giving us money in one hand and taking it away in the other. For example, this year we did not get a per pupil increase. They gave us a categorical of $500,000, $500,000, and they're taking that away from us next year. So without that being replaced, it makes it very difficult to budget appropriately. Also, right now, we don't have an electric forest contract for next June. We've got one for this June, but not next June. Hopefully we can add that back in at amendment time. And then we have many grants and categoricals that have been completed or are not being renewed. Expenditure assumptions. Expenditures increased by about $370,000. We have considered all of our staffing adjustments, our negotiated salary and benefit increases, grant expenditures, and like I mentioned, the repair and maintenance needs. If we look at revenues by function, local sources are down by about $350,000. That is the electric forest revenue. I'm anticipating lower interest rates due to the banking environment, and also no contract for the sale of timber next year. State sources, you see, are down about $360,000. That takes in our declining enrollment and the completion or non-renewal of multiple categoricals and grants. And federal sources are down by about $160,000. That is the anticipated Title I and Title II allocations, along with the completion of the Filter First grant. Expenditures, while I mentioned that those were up by $370,000, there is going to be something that hits every single line item, and that's the UAAL, the flow through. So the state gives us money that we must immediately flow through to the Office of Retirement Services, and they are increasing the money they're giving us next year, so I had to increase our expenditures category. Instruction is up by about $580,000. Instruction comprises most of our line items, so that took the biggest hit with that UAAL impact. We also have our staffing changes there, negotiated salary and benefit increases. Pupil support is up by about $290,000. Along with that flow through, we are hoping to add a student support counselor at the high school for mental health needs for the students, and that would be grant funded with Title IV. Instructional staff support is down $185,000. This year, that was our 35J grant for curriculum, and that should be fully expended. General administration increased ever so slightly. That's that flow through along with negotiated wage and benefit increases. School administration is up by about $36,000. Along with the impact, we have a change in allocation for the math principal. She is currently the principal, the Title I teacher, and the Title II coach, and there's just not enough hours in the day for her to do all of those things. So next year she will be the math principal, 75%, and then Title I, 25%. Business services, we have increased by about $30,000. I put that money in there for possible need for mid-year cash flow borrowing. As you may recall, we didn't have to borrow this year for the first time in forever. But with such an unknown funding picture in front of us, I do have to put that possibility of possibly needing money for cash flow midwinter, late winter. And I've talked to our attorney, and he did say that we can hold off, we can keep evaluating it as we learn more this fall, and then do a mid-year borrowing if need be, and that will save us some interest expense as well. Operations and maintenance is up by about $10,000. That has the flow through, it has the change in staff. We had 2 longtime staff members retire and be replaced with other staff members. We took out last year's projects and put in this year's projects. Transportation is down by about $340,000. As I mentioned, I don't have the electric forest revenue in for next June, but I also don't have those expenditures in there either. And currently there is not a new school bus in the budget, but we're hoping that that can be changed come fall. Other central support is down by about $40,000. Oops. There we go. And that is where our technology is hitting that line item. We evaluated our technology needs for next year, and we're able to move a lot of those to the tech and safety fund and take the burden off the general fund. Athletics is down by about $70,000, and that's the completion of the scoreboard project. Community service is down by about $36,000, and that is the unknown for summer school in June of 2026. So we know how summer school is taking place this year. We're just not sure what grants will be out there next year to fund summer schools. Hopefully we can add that back in. And And then construction saw an increase of 90,000. We do have one capital project in here with general funds, and that would be the possible resurfacing of the track. And we're going to work on finding out what that scope of work looks like, go out for bids, and make sure that falls within our budget threshold. When I take all the information into account, it's got 18.8 million in revenue, 20.6 million in expenditures, has us taking 1.7 million out of the fund balance, leaving us with 1.2 million in June of 2026, which is 6%. Now that sounds drastic, but if you've been around here on the board, you've always seen these proposed budgets, and it is always a chicken little, the sky is falling, because we just don't have a lot of information at this time. And historically, we have always amended our budgets to show significant improvement over this. We'll move on to food service funds. We do anticipate that the state and federal agencies will continue to fund free and lunch for all of our kids and breakfast. We don't have any large capital expenditures coming out of food service next year, since we've done a lot with food service over these past 3 to 4 years. Should leave them with about 43,000 next year. Safety and Tech Fund will be in year 2 of the countywide millage renewal. We do fund our technology assistance, district and building software licenses, and our large Chromebook purchases. In April, the board did approve 420 Chromebooks for NBC, so that will be our large device purchase next year. Scholarship Trust Fund, we have 4 scholarships that are grandfathered in: the Griffin, Flynn, O'Connell, and Trevino. We anticipate there will be small donations along with scholarships awarded to students. Should leave us with around 27,000. School activity funds are the funds housed at the buildings that students fundraise for fun events and other items. And we anticipate money in is money out, so leaves us with about 124,000. That kind of wraps up all of our funds for next year. And just know that we are constantly evaluating this with the information we receive. We're looking at what will that purple allocation look like? What does the state categorical funding look like? What are they going to take away? What are they going to give us? How many kids are going to be here in the fall? We're hopeful that it's more than what we've anticipated. What are our building and repair needs? And how our staffing continues to evolve. And through it all, we'll stay conservative and fiscally responsible. Are there any questions or comments at this time?
The number, Stacy, the 64 students, is that because of a large senior class going out and a smaller kindergarten class coming in, or where did that large?
So, yeah, we move everybody forward 1 grade level. We graduated, I believe, around 120 seniors, and we only have about 65 new kindergartners coming in, and the rest are young fives.
Oh, gotcha.
So we're remaining there. So we really have between 60 and 70 new students coming. You graduate 120 right there as the bulk of your students. We did have some graduates at Duck Creek as well, and so Duck Creek is going to have less than that in those numbers as well.
And do you anticipate that we are going to get an electric force contract?
I don't have anything to indicate otherwise, so I do anticipate that we will have it. Because we like to be conservative, I just like to not put it in there until
Until it's a done deal. Have they ever been this long before they've started? Because I know they're like starting to set up out there, right?
Oh, so we're good for right now.
Oh,
2025.
okay.
It's June
Oh,
2026.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So we don't know
we'll
what that
revisit
looks like.
them. With this current contract, I believe it was signed in February.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And they increased the amount of buses, the amount of staffing this year, so we always reevaluate it over the winter.
Okay. Wonderful.
So as Stacy said, obviously this is kind of your worst case scenario piece that we are looking at, and we do not feel comfortable in leaving it at that. But we wanted to make sure that we put everything in there possibly so that we wouldn't have to be somewhere we had to be cuts as the school year got going. So we feel confident that we'll move forward with this budget in a positive manner and not thinking that. Thank you to Stacy for all her work and putting these together. It is a lot of unknowns, and for her to put in numbers and not really have an idea, but yet make sure that we don't get ourselves where we think we have one minute. So thank you to her. Moving on, we'll move into superintendent comments. We do have 2 new hires from our support staff. Jacqueline Ravella is going to be the new math administrative assistant. She comes to us with some experience, not only from West Shore ESD, but out in Arizona and Shelby as well. She did a very nice job in the interview process, and I think some of our youngest new parents coming into the district will enjoy her very much so. this would be the replacement of Kathy to the world of retirement. Ashley Lind, also, RO, LREA, does come to us with plenty of experience as well from Oak Ridge, West Ottawa, and Orchard View most recently. So we're excited to have her as well. And just other comments, just the legislative unknowns, I'm sure as you've seen in the Friday updates, we're still a long ways from a budget to have an understanding of where we are. We obviously did put in some numbers per pupils, but it's everything from $10,000 per student with categoricals and not sure what those categoricals are to numbers as big as in a proposed budget of $13,000 with no categoricals. And I'm sure it'll be somewhere in between, but we'll navigate that when it comes. I do think in talking with the lobbyists and the legislators that they anticipate shutdowns both at the state and the federal level. I do think for the funding of schools, they'll put in short stays of saying, hey, here's enough money for the month so that we can do it. I think it'll progress for us as schools to where we wouldn't shut down or anything else as far as money is concerned. But yeah, I could see a last minute, 2 in the morning, lots of budgets being done, those kind of things. So, and that is it for superintendent comments.
Awesome, thank you, Joe. Item 8 on the agenda is new business. 8A is consideration to approve the proposed 2025-26 budget. Suggest a motion to approve the proposed 2025-26 budget as presented. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Any discussion?
So, we just heard the budget report from Stacey Brown, business manager. We also did meet the finance committee with Emily, Brent, and Amanda for a little bit deeper dive into the budget as well. And we feel it's a conservative number that will allow us to grow that proposed budget throughout the school year.
Any additional questions or concerns? All right, all those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8B, consideration to approve the MHSAA membership renewal for 2025-26. Suggest a motion to approve the MHSAA membership renewal resolution for 2025-2026 school year as presented.
Support.
Moved by Amanda, support by Karen. Discussion.
So this is our yearly board resolution to make sure that we are part of MHSAA. This is both for our middle school and high school athletic programs.
If we weren't part of MHSAA, we
We would be able to compete in contests, but not the MHSAA tournament. And there is no cost.
it's just joke. Okay. Any additional?
And you follow the rules of MHSAA.
Okay. Any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8C is consideration to approve the MASB membership renewal for 2025-26. Suggest a motion to approve the membership renewal of the Michigan Association of School Boards, MASB, for the 2025-26 school year. Moved by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So, MASB, which you are all a part of, this is our yearly membership component. As you can see, the total invoice for $4,114.44. They do also participate in SEP SAG principles, provide savings to the district as well. So, as you saw in your packet, this is our annual yearly membership.
What do you say it costs?
$1,114.44.
What do we get for that?
So a number of different things. We get the opportunities for professional development. Some are free, some are not. We do get legal components to that as well. The school board and its decision making recognizes legal representation. They also update us on policy changes and different components of it as well.
Any additional questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8D, consideration to approve Athletic overnight trip requests. Suggested motion is to approve the summer overnight athletic trip requests for girls varsity basketball to Petoskey on June 15, 16, 2025. JV and varsity football to Montrose on July 28th to 30th, 2025. And senior football players to Hershey on August 7th through the 9th, 2025. Moved by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So, 3 events, girls basketball team, Petoskey, North Star Shootout. They have basketball tournament. See an appropriate number of chaperones for the number of players. All 3 of these do come out of their activity team budgets in that process. The varsity football team will go to a camp in Montrose, something new this year. See that is in Montrose. We stay in a hotel in Birch Run. The girls basketball one, they have condos up in Falls area, and the final one is at Village University. That's some leadership course leaders.
The only thing I noticed was nobody put down anything for transportation. Are they using personal?
That would be.
I mean, I imagine the football team's gonna have to.
So I know it's a variety, I believe. There'll probably be some van use. Well, maybe not. They didn't put it down because a lot of the parents go to these things. Girls, if they're going up there as well, so they usually are put together. And there's some student drivers that take part in that. I can find out on the football ones because I do think that they're going to need some vans for the Montrose one and for the.
So for girls basketball, so supposedly Jess was denied use of the van. That's what she told me today. So it's currently just her and I driving. I don't know why she was denied.
So if it's parent drivers, do they have to be listed, or if the students are driving, it doesn't have to be listed?
Obviously, there'd be communication with the teams.
Yeah.
All the processes are team. So that's not listed.
Amanda, would that stop you from approving the requests?
No, but my brain is like, it's incomplete. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it could be.
No,
It could be,
that's
or they don't need it. Like,
Or they don't need it.
Yeah.
Which there's not really a spot for other or, yeah.
Okay. Any? Go ahead.
So obviously this can't be required or anything. Like how do they choose who's going to be on the team? Because the football one, for instance, it's in July and
Everybody makes
Everybody
it.
They
makes
offer,
a team,
they offer,
so
yep, they
you
offer it
have
to
to-
everyone, and they do fundraising efforts for it, and anyone that wants to go can go. Now, I will say not for the second one.
the senior
The
one.
senior one, that obviously that narrows it down to the seniors, but still, any of those seniors that would want to go, and that's what it ranges from 14 to 20, and then 15, and then 18, so.
Yeah. Typically with any of them, regardless of the sport, they don't have a copy of this. They all know how much they play.
We're small enough, we don't
Yeah.
understand.
That's how it is with basketball, right? Bill? That's how it is with basketball. You'll confuse it. That wasn't.
Well, they definitely cut for basketball. You mean for the team? Or
For
you're
the
talking
for
two different
for the
teams?
summer
For the
event,
summer
so when
team.
they go out to
As long as they
Petoskey-
can pony up the money, they can go.
Yeah, exactly. They're not limiting who comes. So there might be 20 kids that go to the summer camp. There might only be 12 on the team. Eventually, they can all.
Okay.
They don't usually limit that. Any additional discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8E is consideration of approving the MAISD Special Education Advisory Committee Representative, CPAC. Suggested motion to approve Mary Cavalier as the Montague CPAC representative for the 2-year term spanning July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027.
So moved.
Motion by Karen, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So Mary Cavalier has agreed to continue as the Montague Special Education Parent Advisory Committee representative. This is a 2-year term. She is a parent here in the district of 2 students. She is our representative currently as well. This process requires our Board of Education to approve her through board minutes, and once we get that confirmed, it then goes to the MISD board, where it will also be approved as well.
Any additional discussion or questions?
I will say Mary, as her last 2-year terms, was very committed to it, and was well represented in the meetings that they had.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8F, consideration of approving Carrie Briggs as the new special ed teacher at RRO. Suggested motion to approve Carrie Briggs as the new special ed teacher. Moved by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So Carrie Briggs is a former paraprofessional and a parent for us in the district. She's a chemist in her past life, but then through a district certification process with the West Michigan Teacher Collaborative, she worked to get her teaching degree. She has been long-term subbing within the district here at the end of the year in a current 5th grade class, or did in the 5th grade classroom.
Any additional questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8G, consideration of approving Alexis Koff as the new elementary teacher at RRO. The suggested motion is to approve Alexis Koff as the new elementary teacher. Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
So moved.
So motion by Karen,
Support.
support by Amanda. Cindy? Discussion.
So Lexi will be deemed to be the 3rd grade teacher, filling in for the retirement that we had here with the professor. Lexi is a former Monty graduate, might be familiar under Monette as a name. She is a Central Michigan graduate and did a long-term substitute with us in that 3rd grade classroom this past year as well.
Awesome. Additional discussion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8H, consideration of approving Claudia Rumsey as a new elementary teacher at RRO. Suggested motion to approve Claudia Rumsey as a new elementary teacher. Motion by Scott, support by Karen. Discussion.
So Claudia is also a former Montague graduate for here from Montague High School. She originally was hired on as a 2nd grade open position that we had. She received her degree from Western Michigan. She has taught the last 3 years in kindergarten at Hesperia. With the numbers that we're having in kindergarten, we are going to have to add an additional section, so she will actually be taking that kindergarten section.
Any additional discussion?
So she's going to be kindergarten, not 2nd grade.
Kindergarten.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8I is consideration of approving Carly Woodruff as a new elementary teacher at RRO. Suggested motion to approve Carly Woodruff as a new elementary teacher. Moved by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So Carly will be taking on the 5th grade position. She was a currently, or I guess now finished, but a GSRP lead teacher with plenty of experience with them through Whitehall Community Education and did a great job there. She does have a degree from Central Michigan University as well as her teacher's certificate from Whitehall State University.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8J, consideration of approving Tom Wood as new Spanish teacher at the high school. Suggested motion to approve Tom Wood as a new Spanish teacher. Motion by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So Tom Wood comes to us with 13 years of experience, and he had that in North Carolina, also on the east side of the state, in the Lake Shore, St. Clair Shores, Michigan there. also a Reese Buffer, and got out of education for a period of time. He does have his ed leadership master's degree as well, and we're excited for him to bring back a one-time Spanish teacher rather than filling in.
Awesome. Additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8K is consideration of approving the superintendent contract. Suggest a motion to approve the superintendent contract as presented. Motion by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
This is the contract that I presented previously, kind of the last meeting, but it is the same language from the previous years, just different percentage changes on the numbers from last year to this year.
Additional discussion or questions? All right.
I'm waiting for Cindy.
Me too, I'm waiting for Brett.
I asked my question, so I'm good.
Okay, if you're good, I'm good.
I'd say we have time.
Yeah.
All those in
If I
favor?
thought it was gonna be this easy, we could have done it. I thought it was gonna be this thing.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9 is adjournment, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Cindy, support by